sure, we have heard about lynchings of all kinds, especially the Hindu Muslim. But this was a very unique new thing that I had heard, that somebody was being accused of being a child kidnapper, which they had nothing to do with, purely because of how they looked. Then they were called WhatsApp lynchings because WhatsApp was being used as and nothing to do with them, it's not their fault, but because that time you could transmit to a group of 200, 300, 500,000 people messages.
Keeping the story aside, I was very interested in the way they were planning to make the film. I think we had the freedom to laugh at each other if the other one is acting badly. That's, I think, a very important freedom to have between co-actors.
So we are very thrilled that after you guys made Kamal Hassan, you have landed here in Indian Express newsroom in Bombay.
Yes.
So tell us, how was that experience meeting Mr. Kamal Hassan?
How to put it in words. Do you have anything?
I mean, it was a really exciting, fun afternoon
Did you have coffee and snacks?
We had lunch.
and we had beer as well.
Very delicious lunch. Oh
Yeah.
my god. That was...
Excellent food,
Yeah.
which was a spread. But I think more than anything else, it was the incredible conversations. It was like he's a cinema encyclopedia, and the conversations went way beyond just the film. It was just like about cinema, about world cinema. It was really, really fun, and his energy was so infectious. I mean, he's 70 years old, but his energy and his mannerisms are of a 45, 50-year-old. It was
I think younger than that. I
Yeah.
always thought that he's like a young boy. Like
yeah, it was,
all of us, I think actors have that tendency to be.
and he really
Childlike.
made us very comfortable as well.
After a point, I didn't feel that we are talking to Kamal.
Yeah.
We are talking to some film senior or professor or senior. It was very charming personality.
Very charming,
He just dissolved the
very humble, very simple. Not at all like you would think a superstar. I mean, he's bigger than most superstars,
Yeah.
and no airs of that kind. Welcomed us into his office and into his how the office works, and there were all kinds of other people there as well. Home the office, we met everybody. It was very casual.
Did he tell you why he wanted to meet you guys and host a screening? Or what was what drew him to the film Stolen?
I think it was the freshness of the film. He was very, how do you put it, impressed with the way the film was made with that kind of budget, the kind of budget we had, and he was quite thrilled to meet probably a young team. So it almost felt like, as I said, it felt like teacher, a professor who is proud of the students. And I think that's the beauty of it, that no matter even if you don't know someone, like someone as big as Kamal sir or sometimes Bachchan sir, or I've seen with seniors, if your film is good they immediately start talking to you like a friend. So barrier hat jata hai of whatever young actors, young filmmakers and bigger directors or bigger actors. The barrier just goes down. So
I think he's also very inquisitive how we did those scenes of the specifically the chase scenes in the film and the action in the film. He wanted to know how we did it, and then he got into it and said, "Oh, okay, that's how we did it." Very, very nice conversation.
It's envious of the fact that this platform is there for this current generation of actors and directors and producers, the OTT platform, so as to say, which was not that probably at his time or that he would not explore them.
No, actually, he was very hopeful.
Yeah.
He was. In fact, he was talking about a lot of other. He was very hopeful
New
about,
ways.
new ways of making
Distribution.
In fact, he said, I remember in the conversation, he said that everybody is scared of AI. I am not. In fact, I feel that AI can't take over us. It can't. We are artists, it can't do that. It will take lots of years to do that. So he's very hopeful. I don't think so he's envious or scared of this.
And also open to technology. He wants to use technology to actually make distribution easier. He wants to use technology to reach to an individual. He's got ideas about how technology can not just like an OTT platform get directly to the individual you want to show your film to.
I remember when the 2018, that Kavi Anglong case happened when in Assam, musician and a businessman, they were lynched because they were suspected to be they were stealing children.
Yeah.
And I think we carried it on our page one, and I think many national dailies
Yeah.
they had it on page one. Karan, if you can tell us what thoughts were triggered in your head, and how you thought of why and how you thought of developing this into a feature film.
I mean, at first it was just a shock to my system that, when I first read about it, that you could so unjustly be accused of doing something that you're completely innocent of, and then 500,000 people can collect within minutes and brutally, lynch you in that manner. That itself, that idea was extremely shocking to me, because I didn't think that it was something possible in India. Sure, we have heard about lynchings of all kinds, especially the Hindu Muslim, the beef lynchings. This was still more commonplace, I believe. But this was a very unique new thing that I had heard, that somebody was being accused of being a child kidnapper, which they had nothing to do with, purely because of how they looked. One of the musician had long dreadlocks. They were driving a car, a big black car. So it was actually these few specifics about these boys. The car, their look, that they were termed Jhopadora, which is a local term from, and the Jhopadora myth is that the Jhopadora is a child kidnapper. This is an old myth. And then as I dug deeper into how could that happen, then I discovered the sort of use of technology, because at that time WhatsApp, they were called WhatsApp lynchings, and now it's been whitewashed and not called WhatsApp lynchings anymore, very cleverly done by Mr. Zuckerberg. But then they were called WhatsApp lynchings because WhatsApp was being used and nothing to do with them, it's not their fault, but because that time you could transmit to a group of 200, 300, 500,000 people messages. And with technology, technology allows people not to have, if you can't read, you can't write, but you can use WhatsApp, because you have voice notes, you have imaging, sharing of images. So that sort of started a bit of an investigation into what was going on, and then I discovered that this was just the case that came into national limelight because of those videos. There were some videos that started to do the rounds, very brutal videos, which I think got people, caught up in this storm. But at that time, from 2015, 2014 to about the pandemic 2020, there were like over 300 cases in every state of India. And the way it was playing out at that point, I'm sure, many of you already are aware of that there were these messages flooding that region, and then there would be like a dozen cases where people were being wrongfully accused and killed. Most of the time they didn't make it out alive. 90% of the time they actually never made it out alive. So it was this sort of unpeeling of this phenomenon and what's going on with it, initially more out of wanting to understand why, how, and really like sort of for my own need to understand it. And then being a writer and a filmmaker, very slowly over a couple of years, it sort of started to formulate into the idea of making a story. And it only sort of really crystallized into becoming a film when I met Gaurav. And we decided, okay, now let's try to make a film around it. And I think telling stories and making films is sort of a way of, finding this sort of reasoning within it. It's like somewhere a cathartic experience when you do that and you put it out in the world. And there was a certain fear that I had when I heard about it, a literal fear that this is the kind of injustice that can happen and nobody can be held responsible. So I think it sort of stemmed from that, this whole.
How long this whole process took?
I heard about it in 2018. We started writing the screenplay in 2019, 2020, you can say. And we shot the film in 23. And now we're here where it's released finally. So yeah, it's 7 years since.
Yeah, because of COVID, we had like a 2 years
Yeah.
roadblock because we could not shoot it. Otherwise, we were planning to shoot it in 2020.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to the story when it was brought up?
I was mind blown. See, they came in, the pitch was very simple. I remember GD and KT, they came and said, कि ये India में कभी नहीं हुआ. Indians have not seen a film like that, and we are trying to, make this road film which is, I think the initial idea was to do it a single take, you know, and create that kind of chaos through the journey and all that. Keeping the story aside, I was very interested in the way they were planning to make the film. That was something which was very unique, which was probably breaking the norms of filmmaking, which I was used to, you know. So I was like, this can be a very thrilling experience. Young boys, all like, you know, we're all same age. And then let's get the emotions right in the script and go ahead. That was so. It was a very. I think in the first meeting only I knew that I'm doing this film, and then we kept on.
So Karan, how did you then build up the team around the story that you told?
It's a pretty standard process, you know. I mean, the first.
Figure out that you actually want him, or
I mean, actually, honestly, it was not that tough to like want to work with Abhishek. I
No,
mean,
but
everyone has seen his work.
Actually, it's a very interesting. I've never asked him. When did you think of me first? Like
very much
Very early.
very early. Because honestly, I mean, it's there's a certain kind of style of acting that we see predominantly, and then there is a kind of more realistic sort of performance that we see like in a Stolen, and there are not so many actors who are kind of, you know, doing this very realistic performance. I mean, we have a little bit of a higher pitch with our cinema, which is how it is. And if everybody who has seen Abhishek's work, you can see that even in the very, very, very high massy commercial films that Abhishek does, his pitch is much more in control of him. He can control his pitch more than many of the co-actors that he works with. Actually, I saw a lot of his work. I'd seen Ajji, which I was super impressed by.
Yeah.
I'd seen Stree, which I'd seen that everybody else was hamming their way through the film, but Abhishek was not hamming or hamming in control.
That's the nature of the.
Yeah, it's the nature of the film. That's what I'm saying. I said that pehle only, that hamming is the nature of the films.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we wanted something more, you know, in the realistic space. So it was very easy in that sense to.
Yeah, then we saw Patal Lok also.
Patal Lok I'd seen.
Actually,
Again,
that is what really
very-
triggered it
yeah.
off, because it was so understated.
Yeah, and of course, Patal Lok is playing a completely different character. But you can see, like, you know, when you watch multiple projects of people, you can see how their hold on their craft is. You know, the craft. I mean, Abhishek has a really tremendous hold on his craft, and all the other actors. I mean, Abhishek was the first one who went to Shubham. I mean, whoever has seen the film, and you'll watch it soon. I mean, they're a completely different process. He's, I think, very much from his gut. He's very much from his mind. But the result is very, very powerful performances.
To answer your question, how did we build the team? The team was an ensemble of first-timers. First-time director, first-time writers, first-time production designer, first-time costume. But it doesn't seem like that in the film. And these were people who were selected, handpicked out of meeting thousands of people, and specifically picked because their loyalty was towards the film, not towards me or Katie or everybody came on because of the material that was created. And I think it was the people made the film really.
The fact that Abhishek and Shubham, they know each other, they're from the same college, Kiruriman College in Delhi. How does that work? And you are here, like, cast as brothers. So how much how collaborative was that, and how much did it help that you knew each other? Then probably you knew each other's strengths and weaknesses also as actors.
I think it became very comfortable because we know each other, we know that we can talk with each other, but at the same time it also became little difficult because you can't hide your tricks now. You can't hide behind those tricks because he knows me so well, I know him so well that every time we are doing something, we walk in like looking at each other like, what, false note? Was it a false note? No, ठीक है. तो वो लेकिन धीरे धीरे आई थिंक वो बहुत अच्छी चीज हो गई. और ऑल्सो एक चीज जो बहुत मुश्किल से हो पाती है बॉम्बे में कि आपको जिस तरीके का काम करना है उस तरह की कहानियां आए. बहुत लोग अच्छा काम करना चाहते हैं, बहुत लोग अलग तरीके का काम करना चाहते हैं, बट मौके नहीं मिलते हैं बिकॉज हम उस पोजीशन में नहीं. पावर हमारे पास नहीं है क्योंकि पैसा हमारे पास नहीं है। लेकिन ऐसे बहुत कम प्रोजेक्ट्स आते हैं जहां पे आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ काम कर रहे होते हैं, बहुत लाइक माइंडेड पीपल होते हैं, और सिर्फ स्टोरी के हिसाब से नहीं, क्राफ्ट के हिसाब से। तो उसमें बहुत आई थिंक हेल्प हो जाती है दोस्तों के साथ कि अच्छा विजन एक क्लियर होता है और पता होता है जाना कहाँ है।
I think we had the freedom to laugh at each other if the other one is acting badly. That's I think a very important freedom to have between co-actors. To be so trusting towards each other that some बोलना कि अरे नहीं यार नहीं अच्छा नहीं हुआ ये, the tone is not right, or you're looking funny, things like that. And it's not easy because if you're working with co-actors who you don't have chemistry with, and if you do cross the line, they might feel bad, or it's not about egos, but I think all actors are insecure, at every level. So that you can't do that with any co-actor where you're working professionally. But here that kind of relationship we had.
Also, we had a common language, since 15 years. So it was very easy to tell each other. एक दो शब्द में हो जाता है. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
Questions? And else want to jump in? Yeah.
So, my question to you, Karan. So, the film is, it's a social commentary, but it's very nuanced, and you're not compromising on the, genres either. You balance both equally, and the film comes out pretty great. How do you balance that between, not compromising on the genre itself, like noir or suspense thriller, survival thriller? How do you not compromise between social commentary and the genre?
I mean, we put a lot of effort into, thinking it through and working on the script when we were preparing the film. But I think eventually there is this kind of, maybe there's some instinct, and of course you have collaborators, you're constantly questioning, or is this zyada to nahi ho raha? The genre aspect is more simply, genre is craft. Genre is purely craft, I think, and the genre determines some of your choices, which makes life easier because once you know the space that you are working within, so then those choices become simpler. But whereas the social commentary, it's great that you felt this thing about the social commentary. For me, it was very much more normal. This is how I see the world. This is how I want to present it to the world. It was like that. It was not that यार ये हमें मुद्दा है, मुद्दे को बाहर लाना है. ऐसा नहीं था कभी भी. एक भी बार नहीं सोचा कि यार this is a subject जो we have to preach about, or harp about, or pamphleteer about. Those were never the thing. We were telling the story of characters. We were telling the story of people, real people, and what they kind of would go through if they went on a journey like this. That was the main goal, to tell a very honest story. अब उसमें in any piece of, filmmaking, writing a book, writing an article, anything that we do, all of that other stuff should be there automatically. Because if you have a certain perspective of the world, it'll go into your work. You don't have to try, I think, hard to do that. I think it's an automatic expression of the way you look at the world.
Also, what your question is that how did you balance? And on the surface, we wanted the film to be very approachable. That it's accessible to everybody. It's not something which is art house, or it has obscurity in it that you don't understand. So it was the usually there is a binary. Either it's like really festival films or very commercial film with car blowing up or item number, and that's commercial. But in the internet age, I think commercial is engagement. What is engaging? So art was the middle path. Was we were going to make an engaging film, and everything else will automatically. We are in this society, so it's layered, and some people will get the social commentary, a lot others will not.
And now you are relieved and happy about how it's been taken. How anxious were you prior to it coming out?
I was never anxious.
Yeah,
I
me
always
neither.
knew that it was going to. The first time I saw the rough cut, I think the rough first cut when they showed, I think me and him, we had a conversation on the call, like this is turned out quite well. And since then, I was very sure. Of course, Gaurav was very stressed because it's like, he's the producer and money is at stake and so much at stake. For us, we were like, we just we knew that we have made a great film. Now it was all on him.
No, but it's also a lot of things coming together. You know, it's a lot. It's like a production to market a film, to create intrigue, to get these 4 stalwarts who came on the film as executive producers a couple of months ago. So to put it all, package it all together and make a campaign that could go last, and you know, so it is a lot of stuff to do, and stuff that you don't usually do. You usually make films and you focused on making films and not so much on marketing that much. You know.
Karan, how was it for you? Because it was the first movie. He's fairly established now, so he's very comfortable in the space that he's in.
No, honestly, I didn't think about it at all because my film was, every month the film was playing at 1 or 2 festivals around the world. So in the meantime that it didn't come out onto a platform, it played at some 40 festivals, which actually was a blessing in disguise, you know. People from South America to Japan have watched the film in high numbers, really enjoyed the film. So that's also a filmmaker's wet dream, to be able to, you know, showcase your film across the world at film festivals.
I mean, he could have actually had a global, like, world tour with the film. He
If I could
chose to-
afford it.
He chose, no, you were getting free tickets everywhere.
Yeah.
So you were the only one. Everybody was paying tickets and hotel rooms. Not even actors. Festivals don't care about actors.
Yeah.
You know, and producers.
Yes.
So they are only like, you know, they're trying to like,
Directors are the stars.
yeah, the champion the directors. I think that's the idea of a festival, that you're championing, you're trying to like, you know, help the new young filmmakers. So he had a golden opportunity, but this man
But
is.
tell me, in spite of getting such glowing reviews and then support of, like say, Anurag Kashyap, Vikram Advani,
Nikhil
Kiran
Advani.
Rao, and then Nikhil Advani, why did you not take the film to the theatres and then come to OTT? Why did you skip that?
I mean, the theatrical business is a complicated business. I think Gaurav might be a
GD
better.
should- yeah.
GD should answer this question. Why not? But Amazon gave us the opportunity to play in 190 countries at
At
one
a
go.
one go.
One go.
So our focus from day one on the film was that we were making a global film.
Okay.
And we during the course of, since we premiered in Venice, there were a lot of offers that came to us for piecemeal distribution. UK, France, Japan, China, various distributors wanted to buy the film. But the problem today in today's distribution is that if you say release it in France or Germany and you pick that up, in 2 days it will be pirated. And then it'll kill your other sale. And our primary market, which is India, wasn't sold. You know, so we couldn't release it globally. And we needed something that could either all theatrical could come in like 4 months, you know, and then go to OTT or, you know, a TVOD release or whatever. Or we need a global deal at one go to really have, so that in those circumstances, the Amazon deal came in, and then we wanted to make it bigger than you know, get so Anurag and Kiran and all the 4 EPs, Vikram and Nikhil, came in and marketed the film for us, and yeah, so we thought that this is the best possible way because we wanted to make a global film. It is appealing. Our response from the 40 festivals that we've gone to has been phenomenal. It's just people across religion, language, you know, regions understood the film, got it, and said it's very relevant to their society as well. So we were on the right path, and we needed that global distribution. These guys, this opportunity came, we took it.
I think also when we're trying to do something disruptive, I think it's not, I mean, I feel that emotions and passions, of course, do that comes into play. But I also feel logic is a very important weapon. And what happens with the theatrical, the kind of money you need to raise for marketing and then putting it out, and then you don't know how many days the theaters are going to hold the film. We didn't want that kind of pressure for our film. No, we've tried to make something unique, which we know that the audience will develop a relationship with.
Yeah.
And yeah, OTT or like, you know, that kind of platform, Amazon platform, was giving us that global reach, which we always aimed for.
Yeah.
So in a way, we were successful in our business target.
In that case, it's a blessing, not a plan.
Yes, sure.
It is.
Sure.
It is in many ways. But you know, as filmmakers, it's not either or.
Yeah.
You would like it to be
Everything.
in theaters, and you would like it to be on OTT, and you would like it to be on television because you want to reach the widest audience.
Yeah.
Any filmmaker wants that. All actors want it, all writers want it, all directors want it, all producers want it. This is why we're making it. हम घर पे बैठ के तो देखने का कोई फायदा
Correct.
नहीं. If the world doesn't see it, then they don't. The purpose is not fulfilled. So for us, it was very important that it gets everywhere. Theatrical business also for Hindi films is very skewed. It's skewed because the theaters are in North India, where 70% of the population is. So let's say there are 9,200 theaters, out of which 4,500 are in the north, and 70% of the population is in the north. That's the Hindi belt. So to market, let's say 90 crore people to come see your film is very expensive, as opposed to like the Tamil market, which is 8 crore people. So you got to spend more money to reach them. Plus the competition is really high. Plus in the north, the income parity from the south and the north is very different. For example, a lot of women can't go because there are not enough loos or clean loos and they feel unsafe. So there are all these things that are not just the film itself, just on what day is it releasing, what other films are releasing at the time, what show are you getting a 9 p.m. show, are you getting a 7 p.m. show? If you're not, then 9 o'clock show in the morning is not going to get you the eyeballs, So that the theatrical business has its own issues and complications. So if you have the might and the money, you can play around, but if you don't, then you have to be innovative.